You need to have that backup plan. You need to have somebody supporting you because a succession plan is key to any great leader. So if you think about that whole piece of that word succession, there's a word in there called success. So for you to be successful, for you to succeed, for you to have success, you have to build that successful succession plan so that you have that backup person.
Sneakers on the pavement, life in motion, cars in the driveway, dreams stay rolling, sneaker car, leadership, how you move tells the world what you represent, leading self first, that's the foundation, influence over titles, real conversations, friendships, marriage, parenting with purpose, working life balance, community service, footwear and ride, yeah we taught that too, but it's really about the choices and what you do, mentors, growth, overcoming pressure, leading by example, that's the measure. From the streets to the boardroom, we all lead. Sneakers, cars, and leadership. SCL.
Welcome back to Sneakers, Cars, and Leadership. I'm your host, Drae Hubb, and we're here to bridge the gap between culture and the boardroom. And today, we're tackling a concept that separates good managers from great leaders, shared leadership. And so, before we jump in, we got to talk about that sneaker of the day. And it is the Nike Air Max CB2 in the classic black, white, and purple, the Suns colorway. And this shoe is a masterpiece of the mid-90s engineering. It's aggressive, it's durable, and it's synonymous with Sir Charles Barkley. So if you think about Sir Charles, he's a powerhouse, 6'6", rebounding machine who dominated a league of giants. Barkley's career taught us a vital leadership lesson. Individual dominance can win you an MVP, but it takes shared leadership to contend for the title. These CB2s, they're built for the grind, they're built for the grass, but that purple, that orange reminds us that he was part of a larger ecosystem in Phoenix. So as we jump in about the leadership key segments and key categories around shared leadership, we want to talk about dispersing authority. Leadership isn't a finite resource. It's not a pie where if I give you a slice, I have less. In a professional environment, shared leadership is about dispersing authority across your team. It's the shift from a top-down hierarchy to a collaborative network. So as we think about Sir Charles, the round mound of rebound, he couldn't win the glass alone. And if your strategy relies solely on one star performer, your organization is fragile. As we think about that vehicle, it's that Land Rover Defender 110. You can take your whole group with you off-road. And so shared leadership ensures when the lead person is under pressure, the infrastructure doesn't crumble, just like that Land Rover Defender 110. So in shared leadership, you have to move past the ego. It requires high-level confidence to step back and let someone else lead and take on that project. You have to have confidence to step back. Not confidence to step in the front, but confidence to step back. Confidence in your team, confidence in what you build. And so as you think about leading without authority, we often talk about the influential leadership. When you empower others, you aren't abdicating for your responsibility. You're multiplying your impact. So why do we share leadership? It's because the perspective from the front lines is different from that point of view at the top, that executive level. You need both to make informed decisions. And in addition to that, as you think about trying to build resilience, in a shared leadership ecosystem, it's fluid. If one person hits a wall or face a crisis, the project doesn't end. Someone else is already equipped and authorized to step up and take over and move the needle. So as we close, I want to lay out a couple takeaways for you. And I want to make sure you walk away with more than just a philosophy of shared leadership. So here's some 3 actionable takeaways for this week. Conduct a decision audit. Look at the last 5 major decisions you made in your department or your home. Were you the sole architect? If so, identify one upcoming decision that you have to make and delegate the final authority to one of your team members. Next, identify those people who have your back. Who in your team has the grit to handle that tough task, but isn't currently being given the space to lead? Like Barkley on the boards, they need the room to operate. So create a shared ownership model for your next high-stakes project. The key handoff. Real leadership development happens in the handoff. So take a project that you're currently leading and officially transition the keys to a mentee. Don't just give them the work, give them the accountability, because you have been developing them and this is their time to take. So your charge today is take the project you're leading and hand the keys to a team member. Empower your team to become leaders in their own right. True power isn't what you control, it's what you can successfully hand off. So as we think about shared leadership, is very key and vital to you as a leader, to your mental state, to your physical state, and to your emotional state. Because if you have everything resting on your shoulders by yourself, you feel alone. You don't feel like you can trust anybody. You don't feel like anybody has your back. And so that's why you need to build that shared leadership model today. And if you already have it, tweak it a little bit. Check it out. See what's going on. You have to make some moves, make some changes. But you need to have that backup plan. You need to have somebody supporting you, because a succession plan is key to any great leader. So if you think about that whole piece of that word succession, there's a word in there called success. So for you to be successful, for you to succeed, for you to have success, you have to build that successful succession plan so that you have that backup person. Always be thinking about who is the next man or woman that's up to take the charge and to take the lead. That's what you need to be doing. Because if we think about great leaders, as you look at the tombstone of some great people, it's that dash in the middle that's important to what you do. And it's that last state that determines if you are a great leader. Because you're a great leader once you have stepped on and moved on, and how the people talk about you when you've left. They talk about the great things you've done. They talk about the great nuggets they've gotten from you. That makes you a great leader. You're not a great leader in the moment. You're a great leader when you move on. And shared leadership is going to be key to that. Because as you move on and you've shared that leadership, you've made other people, other mentees, other employees, other successors who have taken some of those great things that you have learned and taught them, and they are using those. And they're saying, hey, also taught me this, learn from that person. When I think about myself, a lot of the leadership qualities that I have built and developed has come from some great leaders who thought about shared leadership. And they've been very key. You know, Tanya Walker was a great person as she used shared leadership and looped me into conversations and looped her team into conversations and delegated authority and responsibility, didn't carry all the weight on her shoulders. That's a good person. There's people that I think about, like Sean Lee, great leader, really poured into and really empowered the people around him to have decision authority and brought them into those conversations and those decisions that would be key and impact various people. Sanjeev, another leader, is always wondering, what do you think? Let me get your thoughts. Hey, you're going to lead this. That person is going to be your main contact. Always willing to delegate and push. Because there's a difference between, I'm going to delegate and just walk away and just let that person handle it. But to delegate with the push is you delegate and give it to someone else, and then you stand behind them and you push them to success. So, I'm your host, Dre Hubb. Keep your kicks clean, your leadership intentional, and we'll see you next time. Sneakers, cars, and leadership.